Hello, friends. I'm on a little bit of a roll here, so uh, let's keep the momentum up. See, see if I can snag another win today. Whew, excuse me. I haven't had my afternoon caffeine. I'm trying to wean myself off a little bit, so I'm a little bit tired. Hopefully, that does not affect my play. I'm gonna cancel and restart. Sometimes that seems to work, but I don't know. I'm not sure what my rating, um, like my request settings are at. I think it's 50 points below. Anything above and 50 points below, I think is where I have it set. I don't remember where to check on that though. Yeah, here it is. 50 points below, anything above. Anybody can challenge. Okay. Here we go. We got a game. 1917, and we get the white pieces. So one E4 it is, and opponent wants a French. Okay, how do we play the French today? Let's let's go with our Chigorin. I haven't played that in a minute. So Chigorin it is. And kind of forgotten how to play it actually. Um, I guess initially I want to kick this. I want to kick the queen. Let's kick the queen because I don't want him to be able to trade. Okay, so knight here, piling up on this. Um, I think about castling queenside. If I if I push D3, maybe he develops here to pin the knight. I unpin, he castles short, I castle long. Kind of, I want to develop my light square bishop on the long diagonal because the queen blocked out any other movement. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll Think about getting the bishop developed, castle and queenside. Maybe, maybe. Don't want to get tunnel vision and only think about that. Makes sense. He's going to pile up over here, and that does really discourage me from castling short. Picking bishop to d2 because if it's on e3, the knight already wants to come here. And I don't want to risk the bishop pair just yet. There is also this. It's a natural development because the bishop wants to get out. It blunts this bishop. This bishop move also supports an e4 push, e5, an e5 push, where the bishop might be coming out here. But by that time, I'll already have fianchettoed and it will have support. And that blunts his own piece. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to develop the bishop because it looks like a good move. Just going to get castled. But what about jumping the knight into the middle and threatening to break up the kingside structure? If he takes, I take back with the queen and unpin the knight. Then maybe I can develop the bishop here without fianchettoing. What else does he do? He could just move his knight and develop, uh, move to the center. I think I do want to get my bishop developed. I don't want to lollygag too much with my development. And I don't want to commit to where my king's going to be placed just yet. A little passively for white. I've kind of noticed that my successes are sometimes I'm more successful in positional endeavors. So he wants to come here and pile up. So if I develop here, my queen is still going to be stuck to this. Here and block. Yeah, that works. We'll just go ahead and feed Keto. Do I want to castle queenside or kingside? Oh, well, that buried the light square bishop. Okay, then. I feel like the knight here now attacks a hanging piece and threatens to discombobulate the king side. Um, so knight takes is the first calculation, and I think queen takes is the response to unpin the knight. Not that the knight's actually pinned, but I don't want to trade queens. I don't think I want to anyway. That allows the knight to come out here, and maybe there's some deflection opportunities on the queen. So the queen comes back here and offers a trade. And then maybe I swing the queen over. He swings the queen over. The knight's blocking the bishop, so the queen is safe there. Let's look at this. Let's try this out. My go-to strategy in the French is I should probably generalize that to any opening, but this bishop's going to be a bad piece. If I can trade off every other piece and leave him with this bishop, I'm better. So there is that to consider. Okay, he saves his bishop, he protects his knight, so there's no tearing apart the king side. But now I've got this square nicely secured. He can create some luft for the king. Hmm, what's the plan? Can I look at trapping the queen? And she's got the whole fifth rank. Well, not there. She's got here, here, here. She's got the light squares. But if I'm able to push h3 and g4, a knight back here would take those two squares away, but it would create this one. So don't know how realistic it's going to be to think I can trap the queen, but I can make a run and gain tempo. So I'm looking at this move. and I like it, so I'm going to play it. Also got this square back here, but a nice little knight jump would trap it if the queen went back to g6. So she's going to have to go along um, the fifth rank to d5 or b5. Doesn't have to do that now. Can wait until I kick. Um, this knight's awful. So maybe he can think about getting the knight developed to some useful square. Yeah, don't blame him for that. Can I push here and that traps the queen? But then this. And so I push c4, bishop b4, and then the square is no longer guarded. So if I went here, he could even just take the bishop with check. And oh, maybe I take back with the queen. C4, bishop b4, g4, attacking the queen. Bishop takes check, queen takes. And the queen's trapped. Yeah. Oh, maybe knight takes. Knight takes attacking my queen. Oh, and the queen would have the dark squares to escape to here. Because my queen, it'd be a queen trade, but I'd get to pry open the king. But I think this knight takes on e4, attacking my queen. Um, can I hit the queen now and force the queen to move? She's only got one of these two squares. Then I can attack it with the pawn. And then she gets a chance to run. Five minutes. Wow, I have been using a lot of time. I'm going to start with this move. I gave him a lot of time to think about that, so maybe he sees the trap at this point. Um, and with the c4 push, I don't know that I'm thinking about castle and queen side anymore. He's also got this knight move here, threatening to come in with check. But do I give him the check? Give him the rook because I can attack the queen? If I attack the queen, he tries to pin the bishop. I just take the queen, so that doesn't work. Um, Pins the bishop now. I attack the queen. He takes the bishop. I take with the queen. He backs up to a dark square. I think that's his only move to not get trapped. If he goes to the light square, I have knight h4. And then he has to go to dark square anyway, and the queens get traded, and I get to open up his king side. He's also got ideas of just taking. He can take in the middle, yeah. And then if I kick, he's got the square because the knight's been removed. So there's a couple ways out. But if he messes up, his queen's going to get trapped. And he took. So I feel like I want to take with, well, take with the queen. I'm going to get kicked. Then do I just come back? I take with the pawn. I take with the pawn. I've eliminated this. It's not backwards. It isn't backwards. I go into a symmetrical pawn formation. Down to 4 minutes. Mm, I'm gonna take with the queen. I'll risk getting kicked. Oh, well, this pawn push protects the square. And then I can kick here. You can offer a queen trade, which I might have to take. You may offer the queen trade immediately anyway. I think maybe I bring the knight out, attacking the queen and the bishop. Because the queen will be defended by the bishop at that point. And if he trades queens, the bishop comes back and defends the square. So no fork. Queen could come here, and I could still come here with the same idea. He could get very brazen and push f5. F5 was something I was curious about, and I think the queen here is the only move to keep things going, so I'll do that. And then I might think about kicking the knight out, but I want to see if there's anything else first. I don't have this push anymore, but I do have this backward pawn weakness now to work with. And the knight jumping in here, that's where the knight wants to be. And I force a rook over to defend because the bishop going backwards, disconnecting the rooks does not make sense. So I imagine he brings this rook over to defend the bishop, and I'm not going to take because this knight on e5 is much better than the bishop on d7. Hmm. I could see him pushing c5, creates a different square for the knight to go back to. Um, Creates a little space for the bishop as well. But does that work? Can I push here? Takes, or maybe I ignore it. If he pushes there, I bring the knight to e5 anyway. 3 minutes and 49 seconds on my clock. Opponent has 7 minutes approaching. Okay, he brings the rook anyway. I think I want to kick the knight just because I don't want him to create an opportunity to bring his knight back toward the center. I want his knight back over here on the edge. So this move is just about displacing the knight, putting it back on the edge of the board. And now I can think about what the heck else I want to do. Probably castle, maybe. Let's get the rooks connected, get castled, and bring a rook to the weakness on e6. Figure out where else to put my queen. Perhaps here. That looks like a nice diagonal. If I can create the right opportunity. Um, I don't want to lift this and give the knight this. So that would be an ideal place for the knight to just camp. Okay. I don't know why he did that. Why did he do that? I was calculating that a second ago with the knight here, so the knight could come back. But now maybe he wants the bishop there. Unclear. I don't want to take and just allow his knight to jump in. If I push, he can take, I take, and he's eliminated his backward pawn. No, I'm bringing the rook. That was my original plan, bringing the rook. Takes and takes. And I'll just put the rook in the middle. Gonna have to start moving a little bit quicker. On move 18, I have 2 minutes and 27 seconds. What about the bishop here now? There's nowhere for the knight to go except right back to where he was. He could defend it. Let's improve the bishop. He could defend it, bring a rook off. That leaves the bishop undefended. Hop right in here. I need to improve my queen. Oh, there is that move. There is that move I neglected. Rerouting the knight. But now you can't take because the bishop hangs. So let's push. He can bring the bishop here. And takes. Bishop moves. I'll have a pawn. And threatening a nice fork. I still need to improve my queen. This diagonal doesn't look as appealing with pawns on it now, but maybe I can clear those off. Okay. That seems problematic. Okay, and I take, and he takes, and I take. Do I take the bishop? Oof. I know I didn't want to take that bishop. I'll bring the queen here. Let's bring the queen here. That does pin the pawn. The knight can be taken, or I can take the bishop. I want to swing the queen over here. I'm making rushed moves now. I don't think I'm playing best moves at the moment. That queen move, for instance. Maybe queen c2 instead. But I want to get all of my pieces to the middle. I'm going to laugh at if that turns out to be the best move. He moves the bishop. Now I can take, and I can take, give check. He can block the check. Hmm. Maybe I should have taken that bishop first, rather than move the queen. If I take the bishop first, he doesn't have that. Oh, wait. I just moved the queen. Yeah, I just moved the queen. Maybe taking the bishop here instead. Rook takes, and then queen here. Perhaps. That does hang this pawn, but maybe queen c2 instead. I don't know. Okay. He lashes out on the king side. Hmm. I don't think I can afford to give that up. So let's back the bishop up. Maybe think about this. Also got ideas of the queen hopping into h5. Okay. Opponent's down under 2 minutes now. We're equalizing on time. Queen moves. The queen up here. And remove a piece between. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't think about that move. Down under a minute. I come up. He traps my queen. Oh, no, he doesn't. I can take. I take the pawn then. Well, let's come up. Pawn here with the idea of knight here. Does that trap the queen? No, that gives me this. No, yeah. No, it gives me the light squares back. So it doesn't. I need some more pieces involved. Maybe stacking rooks. Maybe stacking rooks. I'm not going to think too hard about that. No, that opened up this knight move right here. Still have it. But that forks this. Take, I take, he takes, I take, he checks, I back up. The rook's coming to the F file. He's in a lot of time pressure. Okay. Okay. Can I deflect the queen? This is mate if the queen comes off the seventh. Let's just take that rook. He's going to get the exchange. If I take that, he's going to get the exchange. So I don't take it. Take here. And he gave me the exchange. I think time pressure got to him here. That last little sequence there was probably something in that. Mm, shoot. Let's let's look at liquidating. $18 seconds. Okay, I'm up in exchange, and he's going to win a pawn, but I'm going to steal off the seventh. Got to be careful about tricky knight moves. Got to be careful about tricky knight moves. That just gives me the knight. Whew. I worked for that one. I feel good about it though. It's a little more complicated than yesterday's game. Let's go to the game review. I played a little passively in the opening, but I did mount a steady advantage. I played it like a 2050. Opening was a bit dodgy. Looks like I gave up significant edge once or twice, but was never in any real danger. So I know I misplayed the opening a bit, although these are best moves. That move was questionable. Moving the pawn twice. Okay. Um, I like that idea of the rook move actually, of preparing g4 in a move. If knight takes, I don't know, maybe I mean having an open g file that early in the game with an already castled king. That's something to remember. I might have to visit some lines in that position. This was a mistake, which I felt like in the time at the time that was just silly to box his bishop in. And this was my miss. This was where I give up some advantage. I have 1.4 and it goes back to 0.5, almost a full pawn. I should have pushed here. Um, I guess allowing him to liquidate here is really all I'm giving up. He should have taken. And this was a blunder. And I missed the opportunity to cash in. 2.6 on the eval. I missed this opportunity. I play c4, trying to trap the queen. But I can basically win a piece here somehow. What am I missing? Is it the idea that I had? Is it chasing the queen? The queen still has these two squares to go to. If you see what I'm supposed to do in this position before I do it, leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on in this position. But I'm going to go ahead and ask the computer what the heck I should have. I should have moved this knight. Should have moved this knight. So let's examine why. This knight and best play is bishop d6. Bishop d6, g4, and queen g6 is the only move. Well, it's not the only move, but it's the only move. Otherwise, you're going to run into a discover, and I'm going to win some material. So, knight h4, queen h6, forcing it to the side, and then knight takes f7. Double attack on the queen. Wins. Does it win the queen? Oh no, it gives up a knight. Am I reading that right? Knight. Oh, knight h f3. No, no, no. I'm not reading that right at all. Knight h f3. Knight d5. And this is all like finding the best moves. Knight takes f7 here, and a double attack on the queen, winning this bishop. Don't know if I'd have found that whole calculation and the reasons why these are best moves. Like, I don't know why, for instance, the bishop needed to move there, but might be worth a review. And if you found that, kudos to you. You're up on your tactics. Um, so I missed my opportunity here. He should have taken and did take. Think I was calculating him moving this pawn at some point. He moved it later, but I think it's a better idea to move it now. He still has an opportunity to get that knight in the game or reposition the bishop. I should have kept with the pawn storm rather than castling. I know the king's not in any danger right there, right now. So, I mean, I guess in hindsight, according to the computer, uh, what was that move? Where did I castle? Move 17. I guess move 17 castles was a bit hasty on my part. I should have pushed in the middle. Meh. All right. And I'm up 3 points of material, well, positionally here. And I give some of it back, but for the most part, I maintain an advantage from here on out. Um, should have taken the bishop immediately. Like I did say that in game. I remember saying that taking the bishop first was the idea. Um, yeah, I should have found that move a move sooner, but starting to play a bit quickly now just because of the time pressure. I'm surprised my opponent didn't find this move. Like that was sitting there, and I would have had to jockey with the queen a bit. I should have taken the rook and let him skewer my pieces. Okay. All right. Well, from here on out, you know, just gave me the piece. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed that game. I'm feeling a little more comfortable, a little more back in my element. Um, if I missed any moves, if you saw something I didn't, please let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.